You know, I knew they loved their hockey in Finland. Oh, yeah. I once sold my old Mario Lemieux jacket, more than $100 to somebody, yes, on eBay, to Finland, in Finland. You know, so they love their hockey in Finland. They love it a little bit more after last night when they beat Germany 5-2. And I watched some of the game last night, and it's not like the Germans are a bad team. I know the amateurs are out there. Here's a player, though, maybe a future hockey player to watch. Could this be someone who could go from Finland to the NHL? And forgive me if I don't pronounce his name right. I mean, sorry, the Finnish names are going to be, but an 18-year-old by the name of Eeli Tolvanen. Think Eeli Tolvanen. Excuse me, Tolvanen. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not really pronouncing this right. Eeli Tolvanen. Tolvanen. Let's use it that way. Tolvanen. Okay, you see me working, very prepared here, yes. 1 goal and 3 assists to help Finland defeat Germany. And here's the thing. This is a guy who is a former Predators draft choice. He's been in the Continental Hockey League like a lot of the players have been in the Olympics. But he was the 30th overall pick in last year's NHL draft. So remember that Finland being a team that all Predators fans ought to be able to watch or should take special interest in the Olympics. Now, we all want the Americans to do well. I will admit that over the years, I did kind of like it when for whatever I remember we were talking about this earlier with the Olympics and the Olympic hockey back in '98, and a lot of times we don't have this so much this year because the NHL stars aren't in it. But I remember liking Jaromir Jagr and winning Czech Republic with Dominik Hasek. The win in '98, and I was, talking to people. Yeah, you're not the only one here, and all that. Penguin fans, obviously, Sabres fans. And when Canada took the gold in 2002 in Salt Lake City, and fans were singing "Oh Canada" as they took the gold medal for the first time in 50 years behind Captain Mario Lemieux, yeah, touching moment. Great sports. Would have done anything to be. I mean, I was rooting along with it. Bought me a Canadian Olympic Mario Lemieux jersey. Unfortunately, I had to sell it. It didn't fit. And then, 2010, Sidney Crosby with the game winner in overtime in the most watched hockey game since the United States defeated what country? Why, Finland for the gold medal in 1980. Yeah, exciting effort. Sidney Crosby, guy I like already. That was big. Not that we root against the Americans. I mean, TJ Oshie, that was in that shootout 4 years ago as memorable of a hockey moment as you're going to find. And the rules being that he could keep coming out there and out there and out there. It was very intriguing and such. Anyway, here's something that you should know. Tonight, Slovakia and the USA. Of course, the USA losing to Slovenia in the opening round. Coffee with hockey. I like it. Back in, that was yesterday. And it was a huge upset. Like I said, if Kingsport was in Slovenia, it would be the 3rd largest city in Slovenia. If Greenville was in Slovenia, it would be the 8th largest city in Slovenia. Not a lot of people there, just 2 million. And I'm thinking, I wonder if just about every market in the NHL, I don't want to say every single one because I haven't looked at that, but how many just markets in the NHL have, and I'm by this, the city and suburbs and, markets, have more than 2 million people, are bigger than Slovenia? How many single NHL markets, some even considered to be small markets, have more than 2 million people? Think about that. Think about, and I said this, even 3 cities that have NHL teams. New York, LA, Chicago, obviously. Those cities proper, not even including the suburbs, have more people than Slovenia. And Slovenia came back from a 2-0 deficit and beat the Americans in overtime. Yeah, all right. Yeah. So the Americans are going to try to get back in shape 10 p.m. tonight against Slovakia. Olympic hockey is the best hockey. I'm just kind of curious if this team, which did not have a lot of cohesion, they only had about 5 practices. Tony Granato has a reputation as a good coach, don't get me wrong. But, 5 practices. I'd like to know how much the other teams had, though. And you tell me. I'm looking at this as the chance for American redemption. It's gotten to be something I think, they've got to make a strong showing to the Americans tonight against Slovakia. But until then, the former Predators draft choice, perhaps a future Nashville Predator, Eeli Tolvanen, he was the star against Germany. Maybe, just maybe, people in Tennessee might be pulling a little bit for Finland in these Olympics, especially if there's a future star for the Predators lighting the lamp for them. Tri-City Sports Now, of course, the Daytona 500 is this weekend. And like I said, the Daytona, it used to be February was the slow month of sports. Now you have the Super Bowl, Daytona 500, spring training starts, all this. Those meaningless college basketball games, which we tend to talk about a lot, those will be, those will be somewhat going to the back burner along the way. The NHL, the NBA, to get attention now, they've got to have mass fights and all this. If you've seen what's going on, I guess I'll talk about that a little bit later on. I didn't have a chance to talk about this yesterday, but a couple of things that I wanted to mention, just grab bag stuff. One is Tito Francona. It's Terry Francona, manager of the Cleveland Indians, father, and very close. Terry was actually born in South Dakota because his father was playing minor league baseball at the time. He's not from South Dakota, as Terry Francona, but he was actually born there. Tito himself was a star with the Indians. I think he had 363 in 1959, if memory serves. And for years and years, that was considered the high watermark of the Indians, not necessarily the batting average, although, it's tough to beat 363, but the Indians finished in second place in 1959, and they didn't finish in second again until 1994. They did not make the postseason until 1995. They last made the postseason before that in 54, but a lot of people said that was the last true pennant race that they enjoyed for many, many years. I don't know. There was 1981, 86, the Indians were, but they were kind of ancillary in it. Anyway, the point being that Francona passing away at 84 yesterday, so sad news there. Terry is always called Tito by his friends, and that should tell you something about the relationship that he had with his father. And also, I've interviewed Terry Francona. I mean, he's still to this day is very, very respectable. He's very respective of his elders and such. Cannot call his high school coach by his first name. Coach wants him to, cannot do it. He says, I just can't. We go out, we have a beer now. I can't do it. That's what you get, though, from being raised, I guess, by Tito Francona. Passes away at 84. All right. I also wanted to mention this quick note. You know who's going to drive the pace car in the Daytona 500? Let's give you this thing right here. This is of interest to Tennesseans. Peyton Manning. A little late with this news, but Manning still staying in the spotlight in this way. What can you say? You want to check in early and watch that. That's going to be a lot of fun. So you start wondering, what is Manning going to do We're still wondering that. Obviously, driving the pace car, could a Joe Gibbs ownership type thing, getting much needed money into NASCAR, be in his future? Who knows? I'm merely speculating. I am not speculating about the great work that J. Ray's Heating and Air does in Irwin. Oh, from installation, maintenance, and repair for your heating and air, they're locally owned, insured, and traded. Now, Jay Keplinger runs the place, so if you're having a little trouble with your heat, in this winter, which has seen its share of cold days, you're running a call 423-948-8016. Get a free estimate. What it's going to cost you to save on the heating bills, but also to maybe fix that heater if it's not keeping you as warm as you'd like. That's 423-948-8016. J-Rays, Heating and Air. When we come back, more on the Daytona 500.
Irwin, 1420 NBC Sports Radio Tri-Cities on Facebook, Instagram.